Hello, my name is Arthur. In the last video, we got our first file to open up and made the open file function. And we left it off with a need for a dialog. Now, we've done an open file, a save file dialog, and we've also done a warning dialog. So I don't see a lot of purpose in doing the two remaining dialogues, which is couldn't open the file and couldn't save the file. Those are no different than the other warning dialogue, just with simpler buttons, because those are just an OK button and a message. So in this video, we'll be looking to get things more straightened out, that we would be able to do an actual write to a file. So we're going to move some things around. We'll cut this out of here and put it somewhere more proper, which would be up here somewhere. We'll take out all those extra spaces. This one will have to move. Name from address, we're going to change that one. Save file needs to move, and a new function needs to be put in its place. Oops, we'll cut that out of there, because I keep thinking of that as the place that the file will get written, but that's not where the file will get written at all. Where this one actually belongs is down here. So what we're going to do with save file, oh, there's another thing I noticed here. We'll get back to that other one. On the close file confirmation, so when we put in this warning dialog, I passed it a value, and that value doesn't need to be passed at all because it's not used. So we also pass that value right here. So we'll get rid of those values. They don't need to be passed. What we're going to do is we're going to use the save as type. We're going to pass that one around a bit. So we're going to copy that here. We're going to put that in lieu of file address. Whoops, we don't want to do that. We're going to take this out because it's not going to work anymore. So we'll just leave this empty for now. Then we'll write in a new function. It will be a void function, and it will be called write file. So I keep thinking of save as or save as the place the file is going to get written, but that's not the place the file is going to get written. This is the place the file is going to get written. This is also the place that the file is going to get deleted. So when we're going to pass that type in, and in the save as dialog, where we determine, oh, let's erase the file here, we're going to take this out of here. Let's copy that all the way. So we'll copy that. We'll plunk it into here, where that will actually happen. Whoops, that was a mistake. I meant to tab that back one. So we won't be using that here. What we will be doing here is calling write file, not save file. So we'll call write file, and we'll pass it the type. So now it will know if it's removing the file or not. The next place we need to change this is right here. So this is going to be save file. So this is going to call save file. The other place we need to change is down in button click at save. We have save file as null. We're going to change that one to save and continue. So it will be like this one. And pass in that value so that it knows to save and continue and not close the file. Okay, so most of that's in place. We need to do a big change to close tab. Now the problem with close tab is it's entirely assuming that the tab's only going to get closed by the tab button, but that's not the case. This would close a tab. So we need to have it in place, so if a tab's closed like this, that'll work. And also from the point of view of close window, because when we close a window, it should iterate through the tabs to close them down and determine if they're saved as they're closed down. So to fix close tab, current page, this can stay where it's at. We're going to go int page num and declare page number. Then we're going to go if data. And that's the thing that we're measuring. When we press the X on a tab, gpointer data receives it receives a pointer to the scroll window, and the scroll window is a child of the window being deleted. So if there's data, it'll look for that scroll window. Let's put in a bracket here, we're going to need it. It will set it to the current page. And if those things don't happen, we'll put in an else page num equals current page. And that should get the close tab into a situation where it can close the current tab by button press, close the current tab by iterating through the tabs when the window is closed, and close a tab when the X is pressed on the tab. So that should fix that. Now I've been in the documentation and we're going to look at a change for name from address and see if we can get that working. But before we do that, let's save. Let's see, we're in this folder here. We'll open that in the terminal. We'll try to compile and see if we compile and if everything's running. Okay, we had a problem there. We encountered some kind of a problem at close tab. So let's go have a look at what I did wrong there. So close tab, page num. That's probably it right there. I'm guessing. But that looks out of place because this should work. No, it doesn't. Okay, I'm a little mystified there. Current page? Get current page. I'm going to see if it has to do with this here. Trying to set a page when none exists. seem to be the most likely cause of that problem. Yeah. So we'll have to make that conditional. So we'll add a condition in here. GTK notebook, get n pages. N pages? So that would be something like if GTK notebook get n pages, GTK notebook is greater than 0, then this should happen. So we'll try it like that and see if that fixes that issue. Okay, that seems to fix that up. Okay, so that's closed tab. Now the next one we want to look at is name from address. Now I've been in the documentation here. Let's plop these out of the way and plop that out of the way. And what I found in the documentation is a function called base name, and this one is depreciated, but there is this one in its place, gpath get base name. So I figure that will get me a name without the backslash, because this leaves the backslash. So we're going to fix that. So what we'll do is, I think we can just go char pointer. I'm not sure if this has to be a pointer or not. Gpath get base name from address. And then we would just return this. Let's see if that's gonna do what it's supposed to do. So we'll save that. And I didn't mean to do that. Or that, for that matter. So let's get our terminal back up and try to compile that, see if it works out. Main, let's close this one up. We'll load one. We'll load up main. And we have main without the backslash now. So that works good. So the next thing is fixing save file. So in save file, let's see, we'd be looking for the current page. So we want the current page because that's what we'll be saving. Let's change this back to page num though, because that keeps the consistency that we want. So that gets us a page number. Then we're going to want a constant char pointer pointer name equals GTK GTK I'm not sure how to write this. GTK label get text I think is right. GTK label book page num dot addrss because that was abbreviated. And let's see, does that close this up? Get text. Hopefully that does the trick right there. Then what we're going to do is we're going to do a file test. So we'll test if it's a valid file. So we'll test to see if the book is reflecting a valid file path for its index. So we'll go if G file test name we should probably have put address there, so let's call that address so we know what we're dealing with here. Address comma, then what we need is the file test type. So what this is confusing, but when you read the documentation it's supposed to be one of these things. So what we're going to do is we're going to go G file test exists, so it will test if the file exists. G file test exists. And if the file exists, it doesn't need to go to the save as dialog. So it would be able to go directly to write file, passing the type, and the type being save and continue or save and close. Else save as dialog type. Excuse me. And I think that actually sorts out the whole of what save file needs to do, and it should also eliminate the need for the Boolean. So I mentioned before that I wasn't sure the Boolean would be needed, and I don't think that it is. So let's just see if we compile here. Expected 153. Let's move that over here. 153. Expected. We don't have enough brackets here to close that off properly. Else without a previous if 155. Oh, We have a semicolon here. That can be the worst of the typos to find. What happens is you put a semicolon here and it's always going to go to write file. And it's fortunate to have the else afterwards because it can be a really hard mistake to spot in debugging. I've got hung up on that one for a fair amount of time. Okay, so this should just close. We'll open a file. We can open a file. It should just close. We'll start a new file. We'll tippity tap in there a little bit. We'll try to close it. We'll go save and close. It will go directly to a place. Okay, from there, the only test remaining is write file. So in here, we can test save and close. Because it will just show itself. Else make sure we put the close in there. Let's just gprint. Oops, I have cap lock stuck on. Gprint. File. Oh, let's just print save and continue. I think that gives us the ability to test everything to see that it's working. So there's save and close. It's going to go, oh, I don't have a file name. Let's put this to the desktop and call it file name. It can't write anything anyways. It will just close the tab. And then there would be save. It's going to go give us a file name. We'll give it a file name, save and continue. So that gets us functioning. I'm pretty sure we're functioning to the point that we'd be looking at fprint. Before I do a video to write the file, I want to have a closer look at if this is the way to go about it. And my problem here is this returns an int. So it's going to return the number of bytes printed. So I have to figure out how to test that to make sure it was a successful write. And I'm pretty sure this is the one that I will use, but yeah. I haven't looked through the documentation further to see if I can find another way to write that returns a yeah it wrote or a no it didn't write properly. And maybe it just doesn't work that way. I'm not really sure on that. So I'm going to do a little more reading on writing the file, and then we'll come back and we'll get a file to write. So that's it for this video. I hope that was worthwhile. Things have really shaped up, and I think that it's been a fairly successful project so far. And we have some of the harder buttons working in the first menu. Close and quit, these are not difficult. Close, we just have to write it in, and quit is just the sequence of close window. It'll get the number of pages, and then we'll loop through the pages closing the tab, and then it will return free the book and quit. So that's not a difficult function to come up with. So yeah, that'll be what we're looking forward to doing. We could probably do the actual write file function and close the window function so that it can query to save unsaved files, things like that. So that'll be in the next video, and until then, take care.